This is uh this is Cam Jennings coming at you from epicconversions.com, and I hope you're doing amazing out there. Today, I want to talk about something that I hear a lot of people talking about when it comes to AI. Um was this written by AI? Was this written by AI? A lot of people talking about this idea that, it's getting very, very hard to tell whether or not something was written by AI or not, right? Like a little while before, it was all about, oh, M dashes, M dashes. They're using the M dash, and I can tell that's AI because the M dash, right? And yeah, look, let's be honest. You can go over to like an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and you can say, hey, listen, take all these M dashes out of here. Okay. This is a good article, but get rid of these M dashes. This isn't gonna work for me. Replace all the M dashes with commas. Pretty easy to do that. Pretty simple to do that. So yeah, if someone is just you know, getting AI to write an article for them and they're not really, trying to cover it up too great, you might be able to tell by the M dashes, right? And then, you had all these writers coming out of the woodwork like, I've been using M dashes for years. It is a perfectly legitimate grammatical choice, the M dash, right? And it's like, well, look, things change. That's the way it is, um 50 years ago, if I said something looks gay, it would mean happy. And now it means something different, right? So, it is what it is. Language, it changes a little bit, and grammatical choices and what they mean, they change too with the times. So, I really don't have any sympathy for people who say, I like M dashes. Stop accusing me of using AI. I don't have any sympathy for those people. I mean, give me a break. It is what it is, right? The LLMs use M dashes as one of their tells, and if you use M dashes in your writing, then people are going to think you're using AI. That's just the way it is. But that being said, and all that aside, it is getting harder to tell, what is being written by AI and what is not. In fact, people are saying, oh, look, you can prompt in such a way where you can't really tell at all. You can do the perfect prompt in such a way where it's indistinguishable from a human writer. In fact, it's probably better than a human writer, it's indistinguishable, right? And then, there's been studies done more recently where they have found that, examining like some of the scripts from various platforms like YouTube and stuff, and they're noticing that people and their scripts and stuff are starting to use words that are probably more than likely influenced by the AI, speaking more like the AI. They're starting to notice stuff like that. Also, I just saw a live stream where they were talking about that. Um, but it's interesting to me because you know, so you have this thing. It's kind of influencing people. Why? It's easy because it's easy, right? It's simple. It's simple to use. People use it because it's free. People use it because it's easy, and people use it because they can be inherently lazy. They can be inherently lazy, and they want to find ways to do things that are faster, easier, and cheaper than what they're doing them now. And when I say cheaper, I don't mean necessarily money. It could be time as well. So of course it is popular, right? Of course people are using it. But what's really funny to me is, you know, first of all, AI is affecting people's livelihood. I want you guys to know that. I want you to know that, whether you maybe you don't realize that, maybe it's theoretical to you. It's not. It's real. I mean, AI is definitely changing the way things are done. I have firsthand, a I've closed, one of my membership clubs, directly because of AI, because I just didn't see why it made sense anymore to have it open because of AI and the way things are going with AI. Now that's a direct result of AI, so we're talking about, you know, a few $1,000s a month, in revenue down the toilet just because of AI, and I'm sure that some people have bigger horror stories than that. And look, you could also say, well, Cam, you chose to close that down. You didn't have to. You still had members in the club when you closed it down. You didn't have to do that. No, I didn't. You're right. That's true. I didn't. It could still be open right now, making me money. But the writing's on the wall as far as I'm concerned. It's like a slow death. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you want? You want one in the head or two in the gut, right? It's kind of one of those deals in my view. But here's something I will tell you when it comes to AI, right? And this idea of you can't tell the difference between human written writing, human written content, and AI written content, and all this and all that stuff. What I will tell you is no one would be worried about telling the difference between human and AI if they weren't trying to, deceive you in some way. You understand? Like, the only reason why it matters that there's not a difference between human written content and AI written content is because, people care, because people care. And I'm not talking about the people who, AI is going to make their lives easier. Okay, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who want to read your articles. I'm talking about the people who want to listen to your YouTube videos or your podcasts or whatever, and they want to hear your ideas, your original ideas. They want to hear what you have to say on your videos. They want to hear what you have to say on your podcasts. They want to read what you have to say on your articles. Those people. The end consumer, okay? That's who I'm talking about, the end consumer, all right? And those people, they want to hear from humans. And you know what? Everybody knows it. Everybody who's using AI to do stuff, they know that their end consumers want to hear from a human. They know it. They know it. And that is why there is this great deception. That is why there's this great deception. There's this great deception to trick everyone into thinking this content is made by a human. I need to make it look human. I need to make it look real. It can't look like it came from AI, right? The great deception exists because everyone knows that the end user wants to read something written by a human. They know that the end user, if they're watching your video, like this video you're watching right now, people are watching it because they want to hear from a human. They don't want to hear an AI script. They don't want to hear it, right? So that is like a deception in my view. And I'll tell you what I think of it. You know, this idea of a deception and this idea of taking AI content and it's indistinguishable from human content and all this stuff, and you can fool people, you can trick people with your AI content, you can develop the perfect prompt, and everything's fantastic, and you can't distinguish it. It's better than what most humans could do. Like that idea, like I'll tell you what, I've been in, the world of online business since 2011. All right. And I've been running Epic Conversions since 2016. And in all that time, what has helped me, because I've succeeded and I've failed over the years, and I've done both, and I've done both really well. What I would tell you is when I succeed, it is because I am working hard to be the genuine article. I am working hard to be myself. I am working hard to present my own opinions, my own ideas, my own topic suggestions, okay? I hear people saying, oh man, I don't let AI write for me. I just let it do topics for me. I just let it brainstorm for me, right? Well, look, whose ideas are we talking about here? Are we talking about your ideas? Or are we talking about ChatGPT's ideas, right? Because ChatGPT's giving this other dude over here the same ideas it gave you, right? And then all the crap that you're feedbacking to ChatGPT, it's probably taking that, putting it in his database, and it's giving those ideas to somebody else, right? Who knows? Probably, who knows? But that at the end of the day, what I know is any kind of success that I've had online has come from me being myself and me putting myself out there in a genuine way. As soon as I try to be something I'm not, it doesn't work very well. It doesn't work very well. And I learned early on that I needed to be myself and I needed to have my own kind of personality. And, I just needed to be genuine, right? I needed to be the real person, right? And I think to me, like I'd rather put one article out a week, um, or just like a live stream video like I'm doing right now, like every day, where it's just me talking about, whatever I think is interesting in my market. I'd rather do that than like, work for the perfect prompt and try to put out this like perfect content every day or whatever, because like ChatGPT is like a content factory. I can use Claude as like like a note factory and I'll set up a couple of AI agents to like put it all on autopilot for me or whatever. And it's like all the while I get no better at anything. I don't become a better marketer. I don't become a better businessman. I become a better like AI user or whatever. But the problem is with all these AI users, right? The problem with all these AI users is that I don't know that they become better businessmen. I don't know that they become better anything. And also, like, I definitely know that they're creating a disconnect with their end users. Like, I do believe that the end users do not care about AI, especially when we talk about content and your ideas and what you think about this and what you think about that. Now, if your end users are other people who want to like use AI, fine, but you got to wonder, you got to ask yourself, hey, I teach people how to prompt AI. That's my thing. So all my end users want to use AI. Okay, cool. Well, are they talking to you because they think it's really you giving them suggestions or solutions? Or are they talking to you because they think AI is writing a script for you? Because I'm pretty sure they could all run over to AI and have AI write a script for them on these subjects. So there's got to be a reason they're talking to you or they're listening to you or they're hearing what you have to say about it instead of just running to AI themselves. What do you think that reason is? It's because they want to hear from a human. They want to hear what a human thinks. So this idea of, actual human opinion cannot be overstated. And it's for this reason that the great deception exists when it comes to people trying to say AI can write just as good as a human. It's indistinguishable. The reason why they're trying to make it indistinguishable is because they know that people don't want to hear from AI. They want to hear from a human. So now there's this great deception to fake what AI can do. They want it to sound more human. They want it to sound more. See, look, why does AI need to sound more human? Why can't it just give you the information in the content? And it's like, it's obvious that it's AI content, but it doesn't matter because people still get the content and it's just as good. Why would that not be a problem? Well, that's a problem because people don't want to hear from AI. They want to hear what a real person thinks. That's why it's a problem. So again, people are obsessed with this idea of if things are written by AI or not. And people are obsessed with trying to make things look like they were not written by AI, when really they were in fact written by AI. Why? Because they're trying to deceive you, man. They're trying to make you think this was written by a human when in fact it was not. And the reason why is because the end user truly has the power, okay? Okay? Because this is the internet, and on the internet, it's all about attention, right? The more attention you get, the more money you can make. And the end user has the power to give you attention, right? And the end user doesn't want to hear from AI. They want to hear from a person, right? So that's why the great deception is on, to get AI to sound like human and to fool you into thinking you're listening to what a human has to say when really you're listening to a human read an AI script. And that's why you got all these humans that are all starting to sound the same. They're all starting to sound, they have the same talking points. They have the same talking points. They have the same topics. I mean, it's like they all like had the same fever dream and woke up and wanted to talk about transformation all of a sudden. Are you kidding me? Listen, I've been consulting people for 15 years. Never once has someone came to me and asked for a transformation, okay? It's never happened. You know what they come to me and ask for? Results. Hey, here's my business. Here's what's messed up. Like, what can I do to fix it? They're looking for results. They're not looking for transformation, okay? It's never happened. Not in like 15 years has it ever happened. But all of a sudden, Everyone's got transformation on the tip of their tongue now. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. It's like everyone's like dipping from the same like creativity well or something, you know? It's so stupid, honestly. It's I don't know. It'd be funny if it was like it's like a Saturday Night Live spoof, you know, is what it is. In fact, I would say that the entire internet right now is like a spoof of itself 10 years ago. It's a parody. The internet is a parody of itself from like 10 years ago, okay? That's sad. That's sad. The internet should not have been better 10 years ago than it is right now. But it was. It was better 10 years ago than it is right now. Now it's like a parody of itself. So, anyways, look, I'm just like talking in circles. It doesn't matter. Everyone wants to know if this was written by AI. Everyone's trying to figure out how to make their stuff not sound like it was written by AI. And it's a laugh to me. It's a laugh because, you know, my whole career, like I've learned, and like it's not just me. You can ask any, you know, any business person, like, what is the key? And the key is always, you know, to give people what they want, right? That's always been the key. So like for people to think that what the end user wants, like genuinely, is to hear an opinion of an AI, like they're wrong. You're just off base. You're off base. The end user doesn't want that. Like they don't want to hear from an AI. If they wanted to hear from an AI, they would go talk to an AI. But no, they're sitting here watching your video. They're sitting here reading your article. They're sitting here listening to your podcast because they wanted to hear what you had to say, another human. So, like, to me, when you go to AI and have it come up with ideas for you, or you go to AI and have it come up with a script for you, or you go to AI and have it write an article for you, what you're doing is you're fundamentally robbing your end user of what they actually want. You're fundamentally going against what they actually want. And in that way, I don't see how you win in the long term, right? Eventually, you know, it's all gonna wash out, man. It's gonna wash out because gonna become very, very uninteresting for people. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Now that's based on, you know, that's based on my experience in online business. But as far as like, you know, what I think about AI and stuff like that, I have the same experience as you guys, you know. At the end of November in 2022, ChatGPT comes on the scene and we all started looking at it and experimenting with it. And so we've all had the same amount of time to deal with all this AI stuff, right? And fast forward and we see that the parabolic curve is flattening out a little bit. Like the advancements aren't coming as hot and heavy as they were a couple years ago. But even though like the technology does seem to be flattening out a little bit, it's still being used like crazy. We see a lot of these AI companies are not very profitable. So like it does to me appear like services like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, like it's a strange thing. I don't think that aspect of those companies are profitable. Now Google, look, Google's got Gemini, and AI is not the only thing that you know makes them money, right? So I don't think that is necessarily, you know, an indicator of whether or not they're going to be profitable. But like that's a whole nother story. That doesn't matter. That's a whole nother live stream talking about profit with these AI companies. But at the end of the day, I don't know that the profit thing is gonna like hold up because of the simple fact that anytime you make things easier for people, anything time you make things faster for people, anytime you make things cheaper for people, which is what these AIs are, they're free right now. Most of them are free. They have paid options, but they also have free options. So anytime you can be free, anytime you can make things easier, anytime you can make things faster for people, generally you're on the way to making money. Um, the problem with these AIs is like they burn through more money faster than they're making it. You know, so I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of like you know, kind of like you know, shovel sellers, you know what I mean? And they're making money associated with AI, like the data center, the data center builders, you know, people building the data centers and various other aspects of the AI infrastructure, like they're making money. They're essentially the shovel sellers or the gold miners, right? So they're making money. But AI itself right now is you know, it is easy and it's cheap and it's you know, it's fast for the end consumer. So like the people who want to use AI, you know, they're very, very drawn to it. And I don't know that that goes away anytime soon. Now, what I do see possibly happening is the prices going up. I would imagine these companies have to be profitable. So I would imagine the prices going up. I would imagine, Google's kind of, to me, in my view, Google is cannibalizing their own business, right? Like they were, their business was advertising. Like they let people advertise on their platform. And this whole AI overview thing, all these AI answers and stuff. I mean, the way people are engaging with search is very different now with AI. So I don't know. I feel like they kind of cannibalizing their own business there a little bit. And I'm not the only one who said that. Plenty of people have talked about that, especially people who want to advertise on Google. But I don't know. I guess time will tell. Um, I'll swing this back around to what I was actually talking about as far as like people kind of being obsessed with this idea if content was written by AI or not. I would just wrap this up by kind of like repeating what I was saying, like the end user doesn't want to read stuff written by AI. If they wanted to read stuff written by AI, they'd go talk to AI. Anybody has access to Claude. Anybody has access to Gemini. Anybody has access to, ChatGPT. They can all run over there and talk to them and have a conversation with them about a subject. It's not why they come to your video. That's not why someone showed up on my live stream. That's not why someone chose to read your Substack article. If they wanted to go have a conversation with AI, then they would. Now I do think it's maybe changing the way people interact with content, right? Because now, you can write an article on Substack and someone might read it and then maybe they take it and they cut and paste, they copy and paste it into ChatGPT and have a conversation with ChatGPT about your article, right? And just like have a conversation about it, right? That's a different way to engage with content, right? But at the end of the day, they still didn't want to read your article um, for an AI opinion, right? They didn't want to do it. It doesn't matter if your AI opinion sounded human or not. It wasn't your opinion, right? And to me, like differentiation exists when you are the best version of yourself that you can be and not trying to emulate someone else. Like that's the best way to differentiate, in my opinion, whether it's like an article, whether it's a video, whether it's an audio. Man, I have to present my own opinions. I have to have the genuine article, man. Like this live stream that you're watching right now, like I was listening to another live stream where they were talking about AI and, how like AI is starting to influence the way people create their scripts and it's getting indistinguishable from, human content and you can't even tell anymore. And I was listening to this, live stream and it was kind of like getting me mad. I was like getting kind of just like annoyed by it. Not mad, but just kind of like, the only reason this is like this is because of this deception that's taking place. And the only reason there's a deception taking place is because people don't want to consume AI content. So now there's a deception, right? There's a deception to try to make people think it's not AI content, right? But the thing is, that deception, man, that fundamentally goes against, man, one of the most important things in business, right? Don't ignore your target market. Don't ignore your target market. It's fundamental, right? If my target market wants to hear from a human and they want to hear my opinions, why would I undermine that for the sake of convenience and because I'm lazy, right? Why would I do it, man? Those aren't my opinions. If I ask ChatGPT for like 10 ideas for an article on this subject, right? Guess what? Now it's influencing my stuff, right? It's not my opinions anymore. It's ChatGPT's thing. That's my opinion on it, guys. That's my opinion on it. It is a great deception. I think personally, look, I'm not the most successful person in the world, okay? I'm not a gazillionaire at all. I do pretty well. I work full time online and I've been doing so since, quite a while, since I guess, I started online and let's see, I lost my job in 2010. I started selling books on Amazon in 2011, and I've been online ever since. Um, so I've been doing pretty well online, but no, I'm not like a millionaire or anything like that. But these are my opinions. These are what I think, and they're based on what has helped me be successful in what I do. And fundamental, just fundamental. Don't ignore your target market. And if your target market wants to hear from a human and they want to hear what you have to say, and that's why they follow you, then I think that's stupid to undermine that by trying to have AI like perfect what you have to say. That's what I think. AI is not smarter than you. It's an average culmination of a bunch of people, right? It is the average sum of a bunch of people. I don't think it's smarter than you. Even if like it was smarter than you, it doesn't really matter. They don't want to hear from AI. They want to hear from you. If they wanted to hear from AI, they'd run off to AI and get an AI opinion on it. So, that's what I think, man. There's always room for another pizza place, all right? There might be 5 pizza places in this town, but there's always room for another pizza place on another corner, okay? As long as that pizza place has something to add to the conversation. If you open a pizza place, it's basically a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, then nobody's gonna come buy your pizza, man. That's the bottom line. So it's like, what do you have new to add to the conversation? And I think that you undermine all the new things that you have to add to the conversation when you have AI do everything for you. That's what I believe, man. So maybe that's old timey, maybe that sounds old fashioned. Maybe you think I'm like being the old guy who's like shouting at electricity or something because I'm mad because we have electricity now or something like that. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Uh, you know, AI is not electricity. It's not the same thing. It's not even the same freaking sport, man. So, I don't know. I mean, that's what I think. Whatever, take it or leave it. Anyways, look, hope you have a great one. Just wanted to kind of share my opinions on this great deception of people trying to figure out if AI wrote this or not, or how can I get it to be perfect so it doesn't look like AI wrote it. None of it matters. It doesn't matter if it's the most perfect writing in the world, okay? It doesn't matter if AI made it sound more human than a human, okay? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's not you, all right? When you're on there and you're trying to get people to pay attention to your content, man, your main differentiator is not like the AI that everyone else has access to. That's not your differentiator. And your differentiator is not taking what AI wrote for you and then humanizing it a little bit. Oh, let me add my own twist to it. Let me put my own spin on it so it's personal. No, it's not personal, bro. It's not personal, right? It's a whole lot of not personal. All right. It doesn't sound personal. It doesn't matter if you put your own little spin on it. It's still the same core idea that you got from somebody else. Basically an AI. Anyways, that's my take on it. I'm rambling. Have a fantastic day out there. I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Peace. Now, if you like this, subscribe to my Substack here. I have one offer on the market right now. One. So if you're interested in stuff I'm selling, just go to epicconversions.com. I have something called Epic Conversions Monthly. It is a very cool membership club. You can find that at epicconversions.com. Just scroll down to the bottom. You'll see a little link that says Epic Conversions Monthly, and have at it. That's all I got. Be good out there. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.